On the morning of February 9, 1971, California had one of its many earthquakes, although this one was a massive one. Unlike the Fort Tejon quake, which had a sparsely populated area, this hit a major metropolis. Had this quake hit several hours later, the disaster would have been far worse and the death toll much higher. As it were, freeway overpasses collapsed. A major hospital, the Veterans Administration Hospital in Sylmar, collapsed, killing 65 people. But there was a hidden danger and a hidden disaster waiting. Storing the energy release of several hydrogen bombs was a dam over 100 feet high in the foothills. Tucked away in a remote corner of Granada Hills was the Van Norman Dam, a water reservoir for the valley. Oddly enough, years earlier, another catastrophic dam failure occurred in 1928 in Newhall, near Magic Mountain in the San Francisco Canyon. This would be the failure of the St. Francis Dam. The failure of St. Francis was one of the worst civil engineering disasters in United States history and was responsible for the death of over 450 people, although experts disagree on this number. At new housing projects and developments in Santa Paula and Santa Clarita, in the path of the flood, skeletons are still found from this 1928 disaster. This demonstrates the ferocity of this flood wave, which at times has been estimated at 180 feet high and traveled all the way from Magic Mountain to Ventura. One of the power stations, which was 60 feet in height, was leveled to its foundation by the flood wave. The only things remaining were the generators weighing over 20 tons. The odd coincidence between the two failures was that the engineer, or deputy engineer, on the St. Francis was Harvey Van Norman. Van Norman was a highly competent and capable and very honest engineer, and there is no connection except the fact of his name being associated. Still, it is an interesting fact. It has been speculated that if this dam had fully collapsed, this would have been one of the worst disasters in the United States and possibly in history, with over 100,000 people being killed. The dam was perched right above the valley and Granada Hills and would have sent a flood wave straight into those communities. The possible death toll has been estimated at 110,000 people. The only thing that kept this from being a disaster of this magnitude was the fact that the dam, by coincidence, had had its water level lowered for repairs. This only caused a partial failure. Living in Mission Hills at the time, my family home was in the direct path of the flood wave if it had occurred, and we would have stood no chance of survival. The wave would have been upon us within about 5 minutes. There are several other dams in the area perched above communities. The Pacoima Dam, Tujunga Dam, just to name a few. Are these also in danger of collapse? In 1994, a massive earthquake hit the Northridge area. The lower Van Norman Dam was never rebuilt, but the upper one was, and supposedly there was a 20-foot tsunami in this reservoir. Was this an ominous sign of things to come?